As a DFW area realtor, what are the top 5 questions that I'm asked the most about the current real estate market? Hi there, I'm Carrie Corcoran with JPAR Real Estate in Frisco, Texas, and it's the beginning of September 2022, and today I'm going to ask and answer those questions. So let's get started. Number 1, are we in a housing bubble? Number 2, is the market going to crash? Number 3, is now still a good time to buy a home? Number 4, is it a buyer's market now? And 5, what will happen with interest rates? Let's start with questions number 1 and number 2. Are we in a housing bubble and is the market going to crash? The short answer is no. It's reasonable for people to wonder and be concerned, especially with the run-up in pricing that we saw in the last 2 years with inflation and COVID. What rises quickly must fall quickly too, right? And there is a lot of negative talk in the media, but experts say it's just not in the cards. Our market is simply a function of supply and demand. Number 3, is now still a good time to buy a home? Absolutely. The reality is pricing is stabilized, and that's great news for buyers. Gone are the days of sight unseen offers, competing against 40 offers with no inspections, and going $100,000 over asking price. There are also more choices for buyers with regard to inventory. There are pockets of inventory where we are seeing price increases and decreases, but the decreases are not occurring in a meaningful way that would indicate going back to pre-pandemic pricing. So let's dive into supply and demand. First, supply. Since the Great Recession, builders have been undersupplied in the market, and that was occurring even before COVID started. So even with a decade of undersupply, builders are still facing supply chain disruptions, which makes it hard to build homes at the pace needed. And then there's the media. Headlines read, there's twice as much supply, but based on what? Well, if you go from a historic low level of 0.6 months of supply, and now we have 1.2 months, and the equilibrium is 6 months, we are still greatly undersupplied. In DFW, I wonder if we'll ever get back to 6 months or establish a new normal of 3 to 4 months of supply. Now, let's talk about demand. In the last 2 years, Texas has seen unprecedented demand. There are 3 driving forces in Texas that drive our demand. Number 1, job growth. Number 2, household formation of the millennial generation. And number 3, in-migration to our state. In Q1, Texas added 175,000 new jobs. In Q2, 230,000 new jobs. And for my counting friends, that totals 405,000 new jobs. And most recently, July added 73,000 new jobs. Texas is an economic machine. We have had countless companies relocate here in the last 2 to 5 years, or they're coming soon, or haven't even announced it yet. Our Texas economy is so much different from the U.S. economy as a whole. And get this, the Texas population is estimated to double by the year 2050. 28 years doesn't seem that long to me for that to happen. So, is it a good time to buy a house in Texas? The answer is yes. Moving on to question number 4, is it a buyer's market? We aren't in a buyer's market by definition because that would imply too much supply. But we are certainly in a more buyer-friendly market with more choices available, price stability, and less competition. With regard to builders, most are back to offering custom builds where a buyer can choose their lot, choose their floor plan, their finishes, and they don't have to settle with inventory homes that might not meet 100% of their needs. That, combined with the continuation of building spec inventory, is a reflection builders agree the market is undersupplied. And another friendly change that most builders are now accepting contracts with the contingency to sell the buyer's existing home. Lastly, question number 5, what's happening with interest rates? This is a super hot topic. In the last 10 years, interest rates have been around 3.5%, 4.5%, with a short spike in 2018 to 5%, but then came back down. That was the environment that we've been accustomed to, and that's not historically usual. Then COVID occurred, the economy stalled, the Fed needed to take some actions, big actions that resulted in interest rates around 2 and 3% that spurred a frenzy of activity, of new purchases and refinances. Now we are in the 5 to 6% range, and where do experts forecast the rates will be for the balance of 2022? While no one can predict for sure, the estimate is for them to stay in the 5 to 6% range. Inflation will be a huge indicator, and if inflation increases, the rates will too. So, a new saying has been created: marry the home and date the rate. If you love the house and you can afford the monthly payment, buy the house. Depending on how long you plan to stay in the house or keep the loan, you have options. If you plan to stay in the house and keep the mortgage long term, you can pay down the rate with points, and that will provide monthly savings. If you think the interest rates will drop after you buy, don't pay for points, but save and use that money to refinance at a lower rate. Or many lenders are offering a 2-1 buy down. Pay 2% points less than the current market for 2 years, then pay 1% point less than the current market rate for 1 year. Then at year 3, either pay the current market rate for the balance of the loan or refinance. The average life of a loan is only 6 to 7 years. It doesn't have to be your forever mortgage for your forever home. Let me repeat that. It doesn't have to be your forever mortgage for your forever home. If you need an experienced mortgage professional to help walk you through these options, please ask me. I have fantastic vetted lending partners that have been doing this for over 20 years, and an hour phone call with them could change your future. If you found this information and video helpful and would like to continue to receive updates, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dallas, Texas Real Estate, Corcoran Real Estate Group, and please share this video with anyone that's looking to buy or sell in the DFW area. For more personalized data specific to your needs, please call me at 314-518-3678 or email me at carrie.l.corcoran@gmail.com. All for now. Bye.